Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge. This is your latest football news, and this is a video I've wanted to do for a long time. Really want you to get into the comments. Are you happy with the state of football? Howard Webb has been speaking about VAR. You may not have seen it. It's not easy to find. I would almost argue if you hadn't heard it from somebody, you wouldn't know about it. They've basically admitted a huge error in the Fulham game. But what are your thoughts on that? Also, Tottenham fans in uproar about scheduling of games. So what is your feeling about football right now? Obviously, if you're living in England and Ireland, you've been watching the Bundesliga footage that we have on this channel. You can see the crowd, how they're involved, the games flow, there's good goals. Why is the Premier League falling behind? Is it falling behind in relation to the entertainment? Is it resting on its laurels that we're the biggest league in the world, we're the richest league in the world, so we don't have to pay any attention to the people that make it the best and the richest? You, the fans. So let's start off about VAR. Then we're going to talk about the situation with fans. The Spurs have basically had their game moved to 8 o'clock on Saturday night ahead of they've got to go to Norway on the Tuesday. It should be at 3 o'clock, but they want it on the telly. And this happened to Man United last season as well. Right before Christmas, we were meant to be playing a Carabao Cup game against Spurs. They moved it with next to no notice to the Thursday, which meant the Saturday game get moved to the Sunday the week before Christmas. And that messes up people's plans. When are they going to take notice? When are they going to care about you, the fan? I don't know. But look, we don't need to scream and shout. Get in the comments. Trust me, somebody somewhere at the Premier League, VAR, PGMOL, whatever, will be reading these comments. So it's your chance to have your say. Now, this is what Howard Webb had to say about the mistake at the weekend. Now, we did a watch-along for Chelsea against Fulham. I switched it off and walked with 20 minutes to go. Nothing to do with Chelsea. They're a victim as much as Fulham. That game was destroyed by the officiating in that game, and it wasn't just one incident. It was an absolute joke. But obviously, the goal that King scored for Fulham should have been allowed. The VAR got involved, never a foul, and then the referee went and looked at it and said it was a foul. Marco Silva went to talk to him at half-time, and he sent him away like a naughty child, just pointing at him like that. The arrogance, the enjoyment you could see in the referee's face saying, "Stay away from me, stay away from me." Personally, I think the punishment should be the referee, who was very happy to sit there and mic'd up at Stamford Bridge and give it as a foul, should be at Craven Cottage after the international break apologising to Marco Silva. And Marco Silva should be pointing at him because he got it wrong. I know the VAR referred it, but he's the referee. But this is what Howard Webb had to say. We've established principles in terms of how we officiate in the Premier League and how we use VAR. They sit around a high threshold for penalising contact because it aids the flow and rhythm and tempo of the game. We've also established a high bar for intervention with VAR. In other words, if situations are not clearly wrong and the referee has made a call on the field, that we stand, or at least should stand, and that's the message that we give to all our VARs. We should only be taking goals away when the evidence is clear that that's the only thing we can do, and that's the guidance we give to our officials. An apology has gone to Fulham. But look, you know what, he talks in there, Howard Webb talks about, aiding the flow and rhythm of the game. Just before I talk about that apology, because what does that apology do for Fulham? What does it do for football? What does it do for that game? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. These mistakes have been going on for so long now. What does an apology do? You can't wipe your arse with it. It's a waste of time. But you've got Howard Webb, the boss of the PGMOL. He's not open to talk to anybody. They're not open to talk to the fans. They'll have a little chat with, Sky and whatever, but he's not listening to the fans. It's a dictatorship. You talk, Howard, about aiding the tempo and flow of the game. The tempo and flow of the Premier League is awful. It's dreadful. Man United, Burnley at the weekend, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham. 3 games. I said on every single one when we're doing watch-alongs, I can't believe how slow our games are, comparable to the Friday night game that we did between Hamburg and St. Pauli in the Bundesliga. They let games flow. I would suggest he tunes in to some of the Bundesliga footage and maybe check out the Italian league. I don't know. Because the Premier League does not flow. And when you watch another league, you really see it. Every little foul, in the Premier League, you know a foul's coming. And the players know it as well. They know if there's anyone near them, go down, foul, let's have a break. So stop, start. So don't talk to me about tempo and letting the game flow. The Premier League could be instantly better if we did let the game flow. How do you let the game flow? Silly little fouls, let them go. Let them go, because the teams will realise then, let's not go to ground, let's get up, let's get on with it. We encourage players. You know the one where like the defender, the right back's got the ball in the corner and the winger goes to press them. I know that right back's just going to fall under no contact and the referee's going to give the foul before it even happens. Like, these are the sort of fouls just to go, look, unless he absolutely clatters him, keep the game flowing. It makes it exciting. We've absolutely stunted the flow in the Premier League. So you're failing on that, Howard. And going back to the Fulham thing, let's not forget the Bournemouth game with the handball against Liverpool. There's been multiple bad decisions already this season. And that Fulham one takes the biscuit. We're week 3. What does an apology do? Like, somebody has to pay the price, I'm afraid. And I don't know whether I'm looking at Howard Webb or whatever. The Premier League need to step in. Like, the game is the game. I understand it. It's about money. It's about, reputation. But is it the best league in the world for football? Is it? It's got the best players, the best teams, but is the game as an actual game the best to watch? And I think it's slipping away. I think we think it is because we're told it is. But the actual product is very stop-start. And also, what league in the world is cancelling out goals like that Fulham one and then just going, sorry. I'd switch VAR off. I don't think VAR is the problem, but I don't think we should have switched it on in the first place. I think in the Championship you get better games. Yes, you get the mistakes, but you live with the mistakes. You moan about the mistakes because there is no VAR. We've got VAR and we still get the mistakes. So what's the point in VAR? Like, we're clearly not ready for it. And it's really frustrating when you're Fulham and you get robbed even with VAR, because they never don't back the bloody VAR up either. When was the last time VAR says, I think you should have a look at it, and the referee's gone, you know what, I appreciate you want me to have a look at it, but I'm going to stick with my on-field decision because that's borderline and you're not meant to be showing me borderline, so I'll stick with what I did. The second thing I want to talk about as well, and you might bring up 3 or 4 things yourself. What are you thinking about the football at the moment? I think this is disgusting against you. So basically, Spurs in the Champions League play a Tuesday night game against Bodo Glimt in Norway. They were meant to be playing on the Sunday against Wolves, but that has now been moved to the Saturday night. Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and then you've got to go Norway on the Tuesday. Why has this not been pushed back to 3 o'clock? Why can't you give them an extra bit of time? For the players and their welfare, 100%, but also what about the fans? You've got Spurs. Football fans don't just come from Manchester, Liverpool or London. They haven't done for a long time. Every single Premier League club nearly has fans coming in from all over the world. Europe, certainly, and the country. So you've got Spurs fans who've now got to go down into London for 8 o'clock to play Wolves. You're not going to be getting home till gone midnight, and then you're playing on the Tuesday night. It's about money. It's about money. The scheduling of football games is horrific in the Premier League. And look, again, I'm going to mention the Bundesliga again, 50+1. I can't get over the atmosphere. I can't get over the connection they have with their clubs. Even the clubs that will be in relegation battles. The flags, the flares, the atmosphere. It's intoxicating. They love their clubs and they feel part of their clubs and they're valued by their clubs because they have a voice in their clubs. At least 50%. You will never get a Saudi ownership of a Bundesliga club. You will never get a Glazer ownership of a Bundesliga club. But I don't know whether that's what you want. Do you want 50+1? Do you want to feel closer to your club? Do you want to see atmospheres like that? Do you want to have a voice? Or do you actually want hundreds of millions of pounds to buy players? I don't know what the answer is to that. I'd love to see those sort of atmospheres in the Premier League, but what I'd love to see is clubs standing up to the Premier League and the Champions League and saying this is ridiculous. Not talking about player welfare, I'm talking about fan welfare. Why are we moving our game to 8 o'clock on a Saturday night when we've got a game on Tuesday night in Norway? Why are we not doing this at 3 o'clock? Oh, because we need it to be on the telly. As I said, this happened to United last year. 3 o'clock game on a Saturday scheduled against Bournemouth. We're in the Carabao Cup against Spurs. Carabao Cup games always on a Tuesday, Wednesday. So you go, that's not going to get moved. I will go and see my gran on the Sunday before Christmas. TV companies want to put Man United against Spurs on a Thursday night in the Carabao Cup. Saturday game gets moved to Sunday. The amount of people I knew who were going to that game who got messed up by having to change plans, hotels. I think he got about 2 weeks' notice as well. Next to no notice. There is no relationship between fan groups and the powers that be in football in this country. It is abysmal. You are literally just a customer. You are literally just a meal ticket. And I don't know what the answer is, because the Premier League blossoms and grows and is powerful, but fans end up, you know, being treated like this. Not only VAR, but also in ways like that. Anyway, get your comments in below. Make sure you smash the like on the video, subscribe. I can't wait to see what you've got to say.